All right, it is Sunday before the tournament, and I'm gonna go out and play a little bit of waiting for my pin chest to open up in 2 minutes here. I wanted to let's go. Just trying out a grid, see how that grid works. Let me turn that off real quick. Let's go over here to Sunshine Glades and let's check out the tournament real quick. So we're getting ready. We're on the eve of the tournament. I've got a little bit of practice in, but I really haven't played that much. I've been messing around with this grid, checking it out and seeing, like, to go out and practice with it. It is taking a little bit of time to get used to it. So not changing too many things at the same time, but just checking it out. 2 ways to go: rough bump, or you can hit from over here. I'm going to explore this shot. This shot can get you really close, and it's super consistent as far as like getting up here close to the green. It doesn't take a lot of movement to get over there. You just need to have any quarterback that you have can get the job done. If you've got a really low level quarterback, an extra mile. But I'm going to come at this with a QB and a kingmaker, and I'm going right at it. There is a hole-in-one shot there, but I'm going for eagle. Definitely doing a rough bump here. And I'm not sure which club I'm going to be in depending on ball. So the very first time I get to this hole, I'm going to bring out all of the balls and check red lines and see like where it shows, where it puts me. But thinking of this as like a giraffe coming up. The thing about this type of rough bump is when you come in here, trying to find that spot where the distance. So if you draw a line across here and the distance from where you're at in the rough to the fairway on that arc, the farther you go to the left, the farther that distance is. So if you hit a grate to the left, are you still going to be able to clear the rough, or are you going to get caught up in it? So sometimes on these shots where you're down here on this triangle and you come over where you're just one ring to the left, but you still leave yourself a little bit of room so you won't go too far forward and hit the fairway over here. The closer you can get to the right over here so that you can still leave yourself one shot over to, let me get a little bit closer. Hopefully that'll make more sense. So when you're coming in here like this and you've got your crosshairs, coming up on the farther that you go to the left, the farther you have to hit it. So being down here on that wedge, so you give yourself a grate to the left or the right is going to be really important, but I'm definitely going to be doing the rough bump all week. So if you want to see, you can check the videos for holes that this has been on before. So a couple tournaments ago, I shot this using a Guardian going straight at it. That's a guaranteed 100% guaranteed birdie every time with a serious shot at hole-in-one. Maybe one every other tournament or one a tournament. The last tournament this was in, I demoed the shot from here, but I'm definitely going for the rough bump on this one to try and get it in the cup. There's a lot of rough bumps here. Even on the first shot, that's a super viable rough bump right there. But this is the same type of deal. This is why when you're in pro, if you're playing from the second tees and you're shooting here, you know, your landing zone is in this area. And so the farther you go to the left, the farther you have to go before you clear it. So seeing people set up out here, it's better to start off over in this corner and pull yourself over so that you have a solid grate to the right where you won't clear out here and catch the fairway. And so you're pinched up as much as you can to the right, but give yourself at least one grate to the right. You'll have much more success bleeding out on these types of rough bumps. I like it where the rough bump is like what it is right here, where the rough bump's straight. So you're coming at it and you're coming at it on the perpendicular. So it works out a lot better. All right, that was hole number 1's got a rough bump. Hole number 2's got a rough bump. Hole number 3 has a rough bump. I was talking to Hammer and Hank about this hole, and the problem that I have on this hole, and the view on the hole when you're looking down on the green has changed from what it used to be. But there used to be a very defined ridge that runs right along here. And this part up here is fairly flat. And this side over here runs down. And the cup is on the downhill side. It's actually right down towards the the crotch at the end. It's right there towards the end of it. And from the spot that I'm normally in, I have a beautiful shot coming in there from these shadows, from this part over here, coming in the green so that you're running at it. My goal over here is that you could come in at it at just enough of an angle that if the ridge is running like this, that you're coming on the lower part of the ridge, but you're still engaging the slope coming down. The closer you can get to the bottom here and come straight at the hole, the less you're engaging all of this, and so your ball is going to run a little bit truer. So in one-on-one play on this hole, I typically come out here with, I like to come at this hole with a Guardian, and I end up more out in this area. I'm still well away from the sand, but I end up more towards the sand because the sand side can put your red line up here, and you can either choose to do a rough bump or you can come straight at it. So you're engaging. If the pin's here and you've got a slope here, you're skipping all of that and you're going straight to the cup. So I may change how I'm playing this hole, and I'll tell you, in one-on-one play, I play this hole on T7 all the time with a Marlin, and end up right out in this area, and I'm in the cup, and I may actually come at it with a low wind, like a 0 power. That'd be a great ball. I don't think I even have any. That'd be a great ball for them to offer right now. There's several holes in this tournament you can come out with 0 power balls, and it'd be great to have a high wind ball for the next hole. That'd be nice. Let's see. All right, so I'm coming at that one a little bit different than my last couple times, just because I want to see if I can increase. I get Albie on this hole a lot in one-on-one play. This hole right here, I shot this today, and I'm going to edit the video where I came out with a 4 power ball. My red line was right in here. When I gave myself 2 rings of separation, my ball guide's facing towards, get a little closer. So my red line was right in this area. So if I was 2 rings off, my center ring was here. I'm facing off towards these trees. So with about 4 to 5 topspin, somewhere in that neighborhood, and about mid curl, bringing it around and just dribbling up here onto the green. So with a power 4 ball, you can get it done with a power 4 ball. With a power 3 ball, you can still get the same shot done. You just have to put overpower on it. With a power 4 ball in this configuration right here, I didn't have to put any overpower at all with extra mile 9, and you're going to get the same kind of result here with an extra mile 8 because we're not using all the topspin and the distance is negligible. If you got an extra mile 6 or an extra mile 7, you're going to have to bring out, if you want to do a non-overpowered shot, you'll probably have to bring out a power 5 ball. And even with an extra mile 8 or an extra mile 9 or an APOC 4 or whatever you're using, a power 5 ball will put you deeper up into the cup where you can give yourself the 2 rings of separation and have a lot more control over it, especially if you bring like a snow globe, something that's got 3 side spin, because you're not using all the top spin, so you can engage more of the side spin. And that's probably how I will play that hole towards the weekend round, is I will bring a snow globe, because that's the safer shot. I don't have to, it's not the setup, and the grate to the left or the right is not quite as critical because you're closer up. So that's probably how I'll play it tomorrow in the qualifying round in practice. I'm still coming at this right from this spot right here, coming at the cup. Very little curl. Like, we'll work on it as the week goes on, but it's max backspin, max right hand side spin, and some curl, and it'll end up right there at the cup. I may explore some shots out here if I can find a setup shot where I can run up to the cup, but this is a low percentage par 3 that can eat your lunch either in the sand right here. If you're out here hitting and you hit it great to the right, you take a big risk of getting caught up in the sand. And if for some reason you overshoot or there's a problem, once you get past this ridge, you're going down that hill. And it's unusual for you to end up in the French. Typically you'll stay on the green and it's a max overpower. So for me, this is going to be a Guardian or a Sniper and a Katana. And I'm going to do the backspin, side spin, a little bit of curl. Hole number 6. Hole number 6. I am definitely going for, this is going to be wind dependent. If the wind is blowing this way, so on my drive, I can easily get out here, but then when I take the shot in, I'm going up against a pure side wind. I'll probably take the shot out here, which is with a long iron, but I've got the wind going at my back. If the wind's going this way, then I'm going to come to this spot. What's been happening here is the wind's blowing in the middle. So no matter which side you're on, unless you go this shot out here where you're laying up with your wood, and then your wood is the shot that actually has the best wind. But either one of the shots where you can get in your short iron or long iron are going to be against the side wind. If that's the case, then I'm definitely going to go with my short iron. Definitely. And this will take on the drive, it's a extra mile. You can do it with an extra mile 6, because I do it with my low level account and a Titan, and get yourself out here. If you're using lower developed clubs, you cannot use a Kingfisher here because you're in between clubs up at the top. So bring a runner, and definitely have a backspin club as your long iron, because if you get caught in between clubs and you're on the top side of the red line, you're going to want backspin in order to keep you on the green. So I would put in whatever your best backspin long iron is if you're taking this shot. If you're over here, you want to bring your most accurate long iron. You got a beautiful long iron shot from over here. Hole number 7. And there's a lot of different ways that you can come at this green. You can rough bump it, you can bounce over, you can start on the green side. There's a lot of different ways that you can come at this green. So just depending on where you're at. The duck hole, the famous duck hole. I am definitely going for the on and one with a power 5 ball. And the reason I'm bringing it, I'll explore it with a power 4, but more than likely it's going to be a power 5 so that I can get up here into the whitest part of this. So instead of trying to hit it down here where I'm in the narrow, I want to get up here into the whiter part of it. This gives me more of an opportunity to have 2 rings of separation so I can still end up in a forward direction. The key here is you got to put some kind of movement on it. Otherwise you're going in this direction and you'll end up in the drink right here. You have to put some kind of movement on it. And it needs to be a bunch of side spin, or you're going to have to put some curl, or you're going to have to put some kind of movement on the ball. I'm going to put some curl on it no matter what, because if you don't put any curl on it, even with the side spin doesn't affect your ball until it makes its first landing. So if you land off to the left, you're going to go off to the left, and the side spin is going to pull you around, but you're already in a leftward direction. If you've got right hand curl on it and you hit to the left, you're still going to go to the right, and you want to stay away from this drink. That if you land in the drink, that's an epic fail, because you can get anywhere else out here and you can get on. If you've got a Spitfire and Nirvana, I know you can get on. Definitely need to get an eagle on that hole though. Now I'm doing the rough bump on this, and this is another one of those ones where I think the last time we were in a tournament, the wind was blowing along this axis. And that's, if we're on this hole, in this hole right here, this is the axis that we want the wind. We either want the wind to be blowing like this or in this axis right here, directly at the cup. One of those directions. Because if it's in this right here, it'll be easy to make wind adjustments. If we under or over correct and we make a mistake in our wind adjustment, we'll just end up to the left or the right of the cup. If it's this way right here, it'll be easy to work out what the deal is. But when we have crosswinds and we're in this situation, it can throw us out of that rough pretty easy with a grate to the left or the right, or we'll get caught up in the bunker because it's a pretty narrow rough. So we'll have to see which way the wind's going, but I'm definitely going to be doing a rough bump on here. I think the rough bumps are running out truer. So when we're trying to, this cup right here, a couple tournaments ago, this was in a couple tournaments for this hole ago, I demoed the shot doing the Guardian from here, coming right at it. And the deal is, up at the cup, there's some weird movement up at the cup. So when you try and bounce it in, if you're trying to bounce it in from over here, there's a little bit of weirdness down here at the very end that can move your ball off trajectory right at the very end. But when you're hitting from the rough, for some reason it tends to run flatter, but truer. So I'm going to try the rough bump for sure. The high percentage way to go here is to come bring a backspin club like a Guardian, and you can start off right there next to it and get up, get your birdie, and move on. I'm definitely coming up here as far as I can get up into this area. Now, I'm not going to necessarily flirt with trying to get up into my long iron range, which is somewhere up in there. I'm not going to necessarily flirt with that, but I was laying up right here so that I had a perfect sniper shot to come in. But I think there's too much movement up here on the run end for my ball. And once again, it's constantly off trajectory. So I'm going to come out here with the Guardian so that I can get in front of this sand trap and do a rough bump right there and try and rough bump it in. And if I don't like the rough bump or I'm not quite the right spot, I can backspin it or I can bring it off to the right and then use curl and side spin to get it towards the cup. So I still have tons of options with any of these shots. You have lots of options. So if you're going out here, you need to bring a big dog, and you have 0 chance for Albie. Okay, zero chance for Albie if you come to this side, but you can get a fairly consistent eagle, and you can do it with low level stuff. So you can get yourself out here with a big driver and a marlin. And if you got a big dog, your red line's going to be right in here, and it's going to take probably just a little bit of backspin, maybe 1 or 2 bars of backspin, and max curl, be like 3 rings off of this, and just work yourself around there to get on the green, get your putt, get your eagle, and move on. 0 Albie though. If you want Albie, you got to come over to this side right here, and I'll bring a Titan or a Kingmaker, probably a Kingmaker, because it'll help cut the wind down on the second shot. Depending on how this shot develops throughout the week, it'll determine what kind of ball I need. Because I may want to come out here with a ball that gives me, if I like this shot with the Guardian coming in doing the rough bump, I may bring a 4 wind ball. All right, that's a little bit about coming into the tournament here and just looking at Sunshine Glades, because that's all of our holes. And I've got my notes together, and I'm gonna do all 3 of my accounts in the morning. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching.